Today we will discuss about success story. For agricultural journalists, publishing success story is one of the important activities because through success stories we can influence our farmers to adopt new things, new ideas, as well as also boost up the extension agent for their success. And in this case, how we should write a success story, that is most important one, because all success are not recorded and it will not influence the farmers also. So we have to think some point, consider some points before writing a success story. And today I will discuss on those parts. What is success story? What points we should consider? What are the elements of success story? What is the meaning of success story? The dictionary meaning, based on Merriam-Webster, a story of a person who rises to pursue a climb of brilliant achievement. Achievement of a person. If we describe those story, then it is a success story. Story of someone or something that has achieved a goal. Generally, all people have some goal, but when it is something extraordinary, not a general goal, then we can narrate the story to others so that others can also influence and do these things. Story of someone or something that has achieved wealth, respect, or fame. If the farmers, by adopting a technology, achieve wealth, respect, or fame, then it will be a success story. A success story is an account of achievement of success by a person or an organization. A success story is a great successful performance, often unexpectedly or in spite of unfavorable conditions, often by making a lot of money. Here also main thing is that it is an achievement of success. Earlier I mentioned about the goal. It is not an ordinary goal. It should be unexpected or in spite of unfavorable conditions. The conditions are not congenial, but even he tried and achieve the goal. In that situation, it will be a success story. In case of extension program, when we will cover and success of extension program, which is also equally important because extension programs are implemented for the benefit of the farmers. So it is not that only we should write success story of a farmers, but we can write success story of a program. Actually, most of the cases, because of the program or because of the technology, the farmers are benefited. So in this case, when we will cover a successful program, making a difference in people's life, how the program is make a difference in people's lives before the program and after the program. If we compare those things, then we can find out the difference. And that difference should be observable one. There should be considerable differences. It is more than a list of events or activities. Means what the program is about and what type of activities they are conducted. This is not mentioned in details, but it describes a positive sense and so how that sense benefit the people. In the program, some activities must be done, but after carrying out these activities, there may not be a positive sense among the stakeholders. Therefore, when a considerable amount of positive sense will observe and people feel the benefits because of those interventions, then we can call that this program is successful. Then we can go for a success story. A good success story uses evidence of evaluation to show the value of extension. That means we can't make any comment hypothetically. We have to judge empirically through evaluation, and based on those evaluations, when we will observe that yes, there is a sense of benefit, then we can do these things. And it will also show the value of extension because the extension implemented the program. So people will convinced about the program conducted by extension. Therefore, when we publish this type of success story, it will not only help the farmers, not the program, but also it strengthens the extension. Success story is a simple description of a program's progress, achievement, and lessons learned. When we will cover a success story about a program, then we have to cover progress, achievement, and lesson learned. Because of this intervention, we achieve these things. Why we achieve these things? This is the lesson learned. A success story shows how the program or intervention has made a difference in people's life. In case of program, we are concerned about the intervention. What intervention the program has made, and because of that intervention, how people's lives are set. Suppose we are introducing a flood resistance or tolerant varieties in a flood affected areas, and this is the intervention from the extension organization. And after the intervention of introduction of flood tolerant varieties, how people are benefited. If people able to harvest crop, then automatically they will be benefited, and that will be a difference, and it is a positive difference, and it is the success story of intervention made by the problem. It describes positive sense and benefits. To influence people, always we have to make the positive sense and benefits, not the negative side. There may be some negative points or weak points, but if there is distinct positive sense and benefits, then we should describe these things. Success stories can be as short as few paragraphs or as long as 10 pages. But in general, it is a short story of few paragraphs. When you will see the examples, published success stories, then you can understand that within 1 pages, you can write a good success stories. And when it is short and specific, then reader will understand it clearly, because an general reader, he will not read a 10 pages success story. But this part is also important for others. Suppose for the extension organization, the policy makers, they want to know in details. For that, it will be a long one. But in case of readers, only few paragraphs is sufficient. And as a journalist, you should also concern on these things. There are 4 no's of success stories. Know what information you want to tell, means because of what it was successful. Know the audience, means whom you will tell. It may be a reader, it may be a viewers, everything. Know to tailor your message to your audience. According to the audience, you have to treat the information to suit the audience. For that purpose, we have to treat the message. If you will write for farmers, you have to write in such a way that farmers can understand in details. Know your story. That means you should know everything about the story, the background, everything in details. Then only you can write a good success story. It may be of suppose 3 or 4 paragraphs, but to write 3 and 4 paragraphs of a success story, you should know in details. Maybe your collected information or it will be 30 pages, and then you can add the most important points in your shorter version of 3 to 4 paragraphs. So you should know in details. These are the 4 no's. What information you are going to share, to whom, and for this audience, you have to treat the message or information so that they will understand it, and to describe the story in proper way, you should know in details, and for that purpose, you have to collect more information and it should be in depth, just like a researcher. Tips for writing success story. First one is find out SE word. Mean who SE, whose success story you are going to describe. It may be a person, it may be an organization, it may be a technology. Suppose a farmer, he tried something and SE, which is in general other farmers cannot do. In that case, it is a success story of farmers. It is his effort. When an organization implements a program and due to the program there is a positive sense, then it's a success story of the organization. And sometimes due to introduction of a particular technology, it may be introduced by the organization, it may be adopted directly by the farmers, but main thing is that it is a technology. Because of the technology, the farmers will be benefited. Already I have mentioned this example of drought-tolerant varieties or sometimes high-yielding varieties, all these type of things. At present, in our state, there are large-scale production of vegetables. These are because of hybrid varieties. So, the success story is related with the hybrid variety, hybrid one, not the farmers. But the farmers, they allow. This is that. And sometimes the farmers have got some new technology and test it, and all the efforts are given to the farmers because those technologies may not be a proven one, but he was successful in his condition. Then it's a success story of the farmers. Know about success broadly. What is the actual success? And in general, it is somewhat difficult at beginnings to differentiate whose success story. It is farmers or the technology. You will get different success stories published in newspaper where in general the reporter mentioned that the farmers, he adopted this technology or variety after that, before that his earning was this, now his earning was this much. So he is a successful farmer. But because of which he is a successful farmer? Because of the technology. So in the success story, we should give more emphasis on the technology, not on the farms. But in some cases, if farmers' effort is more, then it will be a success story of the farmers. Its decision-making capacity, selection criteria, all these things, then it is a farmer's success story. Set your purpose of writing the story. Why to write? For what purpose you are writing the story? For whom to write? Who will read it? For what for to write? After writing, what you will get? You must be clear about all these things. Decide where to publish or use. If you publish in newspaper, then you must consider about the readership pattern, and accordingly you have to treat the message. And if you write it for policymakers, then your story will be somewhat different. But as a journalist, generally we publish it in newspaper or magazine, so you must consider the reader of that particular newspaper and treat the message accordingly. Gather information with researchers' spirit. Already I mentioned, when you will collect the maximum information, then you can write the success story properly. And here you must investigate the deeper so that you will get actual picture. So when you will search information, your spirit should be just like a researcher. After that, when you will start the writing, before that, you must decide the headings and subheadings and arrange it in an orderly sequence. Generally, in case of success story, the popular style is before, after style. That means before the technology or before the program, what was the situation, and after that, what was the situation. And if it is a positive sense, then it will be a success story. So it is called as before, after. Follow journalistic writing principles and practices. After that, when you will write the success story, you have to follow all the principles and practices to write a news or feature just like a journalist. Whether it is a success story or news or feature, ultimately you have to follow these principles and practices. It may be a general reporter or it may be a farm reporter. This part is safe. If you write a success story for extension, organization or development program, then you should describe the positive changes brought by the program and shows how that change benefit the people. Here also, first you mentioned that before the program, what was the situation, and after the program, what is the situation in between the intervention. That means it may be the program, it may be the technology like that. And if the changes is positive, that means it is positive, then it is a successful program. And that positive sense must be filled by the people. They must tell. You should not tell. The story may be about an entire program or part of the program. Sometimes during the program you will get the achievement. So from that part of the program you can cover the success story. Or sometimes after completion of the entire program you can write the success story. Generally, when the program is implemented for long period of time, then success stories are written from part of the program. And for short program or project, short duration, then entire program or project is covered. Generally, when it is a short duration, it is a project. Long duration, it is a program. What are the main components of success story? It is just like any other features. First, you have to write the lead. Here it is a paragraph, or if it is a shorter version, you can write it in one sentence or two sentences. Body, you should describe the facts with figure and photographs, and it is not more than 2/3 of the success story. The conclusion, last part of the story, describe outcomes in terms of both value and meaning. This part is important. This is the learning point, and people will take this point for this application. Here, the entire story will describe, and when you will provide it with facts and figures, photographs, then people will convince. And suppose the story is of this lead, is the 2/3 person. Always maintain this symmetry. If you write one sentence lead, after that 2 or 3 pages of body, then another 1 or 2 sentences in conclusion, then it will be on one. Always maintain the symmetry. And style of writing, you have to follow the journalistic style already discussed while writing the news. There are 4 basic elements. In all those international agencies, when they are documented the success stories, they are maintain these 4 elements in a success story. And most of the cases, they specifically mention these things. What is the situation? What was the problem? Issue or concern? Response. How did the affected person, the program, solve the problem? Means the intervention. This is the problem. To solve that problem, this is the treatment. Result. What was the outcome? Who are benefited? After the treatment, what is the result? And from this result, who are benefited? Evidence. What were the changes and benefits using qualitative and or qualitative data for beneficiaries? Simply, if you mention that after this treatment, these are the outcomes and those are the farmers, they are benefited, people will not convince if you have not provided any evidence. So, you have to collect evidence with facts and figures, everything, and that must be mentioned. And if you mention some code of the beneficiaries, then it will influence the reader to a large extent. That means instead of writing in your own language, if you stated a direct quotation from the farmers, then it will be more useful, more influential. And always try to collect that type of quotes. One quote is sufficient to influence large number of audience. And generally, when the farmers or beneficiaries will discuss about the program or technology or his own achievement, he will mention some statement. This is a generalized statement, and from the statement, if you put this statement, then others will understand what is the benefit. Again, while writing the success story, we have to consider this 5W and H. Remember always, this 5W and H is very, very important for journalists. Who is the individual or group the intervention serve? What is their age, gender, ethnic group, poverty level, literacy, all these things. Because these are also influence on the success. What changes has come into this recipient's life because of your intervention? Look at the sense. When did the sense occur? After intervention, 1 month, 2 months or 1 year, that is important. Where did this occur? Pinpoint the location of the program. This is also equally important. If you mention a success story of America to the farmers of Assam, they will not listen to it. But if you mention a success story of Borbata district, then farmers of Borbata districts or nearby areas, they will give more emphasis on the program because the location situation is similar. So this point is very, very important while writing the success story by targeting the audience. How did the intervention provided for the program cause the sense? The program provides some intervention, and this intervention, how achievement was made. Only giving the technology or some recommendation is not sufficient to bring the sense. We have to do something more. So how did intervention change the program? That part is also equally important. And this how will important for the stakeholders also, because he will also think whether it is possible for him or not. Why does the recipient feel that his her life is better or has been changed? Before the treatment, this is the situation. After the treatment, this is the situation. That sense situation must be felt by the recipient. And why he feel like that? Because that sense may be due to other factors also. Why he mentioned that it is because of this program or for this intervention. That is important. A direct quote will give greater impact to the story. Earlier I also mentioned these things. Always try to mention the direct quote. Some other elements also considered or in other language. One is passion. Does the story contain sufficient passion to engage the emotion of the target audience? Means whether the story will attract the audience or not. Are the stakes high enough? Means the level of success. If it is not at higher level, the reader will not interested on it. Hero, the achiever. Has the story provided clearly defined point of view? Can the facts that lie at its core be understood? Can this point of view be comfortably accepted by the target audience? On the points, whatever you mentioned, whether these are understandable for the readers, after understanding whether they will accept it, these things, that part is also equally important. Antagonist. When implementing the program or adopting some technology, there are some obstacles. How those obstacles are confronted by the hero of the story, and that part must be expressed clearly. Actually, because of that, he is a hero. He overcome the obstacle. And when the reader will know about these things, how he overcome these obstacles, then they will take action and accept that, yes, I can also accept the challenge. Feel that I am thinking it is a problem, it is a challenge, but as my fellow farmers overcome these obstacles, then why not me? Transformation. Does the story have the power to change the life of the audience? If the activity changes the life of a particular person, the hero, then it may not be sense the other readers also because of some other factors like locality, situation. So first you have to consider all those things. It may be a successful program in this area, but may not be successful in other areas. If it is of similar type, then it will transform, otherwise not. So when you will write the success story, you have to think on that part, because ultimately you will write the success story for the readers, and with an objective that by reading the success stories, they will influence and practice this thing. This is all about